What's going on, everyone? So, per reports from Inquired, the Lakers have at least expressed interest and touched base with the Toronto Raptors on a potential Jakob Poeltl trade. The Lakers are actively trying to find centers. They're actively trying to acquire some type of center, especially more now, especially since Anthony Davis basically called out the front office and said that, hey, go get me a center type thing. I do think that you're going to hear more about center acquisitions. And, I still don't know how realistic Jakob Poeltl is, but we'll dive into it here. Look, I would love Jakob Poeltl, but let's read the report first, and then we'll jump into the actual fit and all that stuff, right? So, Inquired, the Lakers recently checked in with the Raptors about Jakob Poeltl. Los Angeles can make the salaries work alongside draft capital in a potential deal for Poeltl by including Rui Hachimura and Jalen Hood-Schifino. It would take a large offer for Toronto to consider trading Jakob Poeltl. There's also been reports that have came out even as recent as a couple days ago that the Toronto Raptors have been very reluctant, very resistant in any type of trade for Jakob Poeltl, that they really like him, they want to keep him. How much of that is just, the old, we love this guy, right? We're not trading this guy. And how much of it is he's actually obtainable and acquirable? Is that something that the Lakers or some of these other teams might be able to accomplish? Toronto, look, they want to tank for the bottom. They get a best draft pick they possibly can, right? They're not winning anything this year. So could they move off of Jakob Poeltl? Right? You've seen guys like Kelly Olynyk is another guy that's available for Toronto. Toronto has pretty much everybody a little available. Chris Boucher is another guy that's available. Personally, I'd stay away from him unless he's an add-on, an inclusion. But Toronto makes a lot of sense, period, right? Bruce Brown, Lakers have been heavily linked to. Could you maybe get a Bruce Brown with the Jakob Poeltl? That could be huge. Kind of focus on one team, get one acquisition done. If you could get a Abaji also, if you get Bruce Brown, Abaji, and a Poeltl, I might even consider giving up both first, because you're getting a young 3-and-D wing. You're getting your point guard or two guard, however you want to slice it, point of attack guy, and you're getting a legit center that is on the right side of 30 and stuff like that, right? I think that there's a real logic and sense there, but let's stick just strictly to Jakob Poeltl and his kind of impact. So again, Lakers could use a big physical center, a guy that defensively protect the rim, a guy defensively can bang with the big boys. Jakob Poeltl would give you that. Jakob Poeltl's a guy that can be that interior presence. Doesn't really give you any floor spacing, but he is a guy that can rebound, defend, right? And he's a guy that can make plays out of the post, right? He's an excellent and willing passer, especially out of double team, stuff like that. But also he's a guy that you can just dump the ball down to and he can go to work. He's a guy that you could just dump the ball down to and he can go, score around the rim and stuff. Doesn't really necessarily need, he's not just solely a lob threat, right? So there is some upside and potential in a potential Jakob Poeltl. But again, like I said, he's 29 years old. He won't be 30 till October. So just turned 29 going into the season. He's a true 7-footer. Right, gives you some real size, some real physicality on the interior for the Lakers. But looking at kind of what does he provide? What is he doing this year? Well, let me tell you. So in 39 games this season, he is averaging 31.4 minutes per game. He is shooting 61.4% on 10 attempts, 10.4 if you want to be exact. Again, 3-point percentage, nothing. He doesn't give you anything from shooting the 3 ball. He is shooting 61.7% from 2-point range on 10.4 attempts. Again, all of his attempts there. EFG of 61.4%. And then he has free throw percentages, which is probably his biggest flaw, although he is shooting 65% this season, which is the best of his career. So there's that. And again, not a great free throw shooter, but he's only averaging just under 3 attempts per game. So, get away with that. Rebounds. He's averaging 10.3 rebounds per game, including 3.6 offensive rebounds. Almost 4 offensive rebounds a game, but as well as 10 rebounds. 2.6 assists. As I mentioned, a guy that is a willing passer, can make plays, which I think could go a long way. 1.2 steals, 1.2 blocks. So again, guy that gets you a steal, a block a game, kind of give you some rim protection, give you physical presence on the inside, and then just under 15 points per game at 14.7. Talking about a legit, 15 and 10 guy. Right, 14 and 10 guy, but it's more so of just his physicality, his interior presence, a guy that can bang with the big boys, especially in the Western Conference going up against Nikola Vucevic, or Nikola Jokic, sorry, not Vucevic, Nikola Jokic, or, Zach Edey, or, even a Sabonis or, a Şengün, like guys like that, want to kind of operate on the interior, kind of bang with the big boys, like I mentioned, bring in a guy like a Jakob Poeltl. Obviously, price is everything. I'm not giving up 2 firsts for Jakob Poeltl personally. If you get Jakob Poeltl for, say, a first, right, I wouldn't be against that. At that point, I just think, you might as well, like if you're going to give up 2 firsts or something like that, you might as well just go get Kessler then at that point, right? Like if you're going to give up a first, I think there is some genuine argument and discussion there for a Jakob Poeltl. Question is he worth a first compared to if you can get Nikola Vucevic for, say, 2 seconds? Right? They're kind of 2 very extremes, right? Like Jakob Poeltl, again, is much better defensively, but he doesn't have the offensive versatility that Vu does provide. Now, Jakob Poeltl is able to make plays, but so is Vu, right? Like, so some of their pros are in the same area, but one guy is just far superior offensively compared to the other guy who is much better defensively. He's not like elite defensively, but he's much, compared to, Vucevic, he is elite defensively, right? So you got the offensive to the defensive versatility. I think, to me, it depends on what else can you get, right? Like, if you could just do Bruce Brown and Jakob Poeltl in one swing, and it's just easier to just deal with one team than it is like trying to get Jakob Poeltl and then go get this guy and then go get this, right? It's just easier to kind of get everything done in one swoop, give up whatever assets, what other picks. Like I said, if you get a Jan Abaji, he's 24, 25, 6'6", versatile guard. He can play 2 through 4 on some nights, small ball if you wanted to, right? Like, 3 and D, I think he's shooting 40% if I'm not mistaken off the top of my head. If you can get something like that, add in a Jakob Poeltl and then get a Bruce Brown in the deal, fine. Right? And that'd be roughly it's like $50 million you have to send out, which the Lakers could do without trading Reeves or anything like that. Like if you could do something like that, cool. I wouldn't be against that. But if it's like just Jakob Poeltl, or even if it's Jakob Poeltl and Bruce Brown, I still wouldn't give up both first. Right? Like I would want Jakob Poeltl and Bruce Brown, if you could do a first and like a pick swap or a first in 2 seconds, just the young 2-way wing is like the argument for like, okay, justifying the other first, right? Maybe you could even get another small piece in the deal or whatever. And even then, I don't know if I'd give, even if you could get a Abaji, I don't know if I'd give both unprotected. But if you could get, like I said, if you get Bruce Brown and Jakob Poeltl for a first in 2 seconds, I think that's something that's something that the Lakers should do and should consider. You'd be much more stout defensively. I mean, imagine a starting 5 of Bruce Brown, Austin Reeves, which would be your worst defender on the court, but then you'd have LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and Jakob Poeltl. Literally, you're everyone but Austin Reeves. LeBron too, but LeBron is, when he wants to be engaged, when he wants to lock down defensively, he is that piece for you. But he's a guy just defensively that can really get after it, really kind of hold down the fort. And then I just think you move much better. You still have a Dorian Finney-Smith if you wanted to kind of plug in, or you could just go big if you wanted to, go like Austin Reeves, Dorian, LeBron, AD, and Jakob Poeltl, and then still have that defense and just that switchability. And now you have like a Bruce Brown coming off the bench. Again, just kind of gives you that versatility. But again, if it's just Jakob Poeltl straight up, if you could do it for a first, I think you do it, right? Like if you say it's Rui and Jalen Hood-Schifino plus a first for Jakob Poeltl, I think it'd be hard to say no to that, right? I mean, again, just the defensive impact, the rebounding, right? When Anthony Davis goes to the bench, you still have that interior presence that can protect the rim and, kind of do some things out there on the basketball court. If Anthony Davis gets the night off, again, you have that guy that can just do that. Talking about, again, Anthony Davis plus Jakob Poeltl would give you probably, in my opinion, the best defensive front court in the league, if not the best. I don't even think it's really debatable at that point, right? Unless you got like a Walker Kessler or something like that, right? Then, maybe, or if like the Spurs got Walker Kessler, then you could argue Wemby and that. But outside of that, I look at that, compared to some of the other, like Giannis and Brook Lopez, right? Anthony Davis and Jakob Poeltl, I think, give you very comparable. Just the versatility. Now, Anthony Davis and his ability to roam and be out there. Jakob Poeltl gives you exactly what Anthony Davis has been asking for, been begging for. Again, and he's a guy that you could have for the next 5+ years, right? He's a guy that you don't have to worry about. He's a guy that you can count on. It's just injuries, right? Can he stay healthy? he doesn't really have like that extensive injury history. Right? He's playing 39 games this season. You look at last season, though, he played 50 games. And then the year before that, he did play 72 games, 68 games, 69 games. So, he's giving you around, 60. But compared to like a Valanciunas, who's giving you like, 80 games a season, or Vucevic, who's giving you, like 79 games a season, right? You're getting like about 10 games fewer with the Jakob Poeltl than you would some of those guys. Again, doesn't have like an extensive injury history or anything like that, but just something to kind of keep in mind, because those extra games are a big difference, right? But just in general, right, to kind of bring in a guy that could have that impact. No, not going to break the bank or anything like that. Give you that flexibility. He does have contract-wise. He has $19.5 million this season, $19.5 million next, and then $19.5 million year after as a player option. So you'd still have him under contract for 2 more years. But it does, like, his contract doesn't change. It's literally the same amount. So again, as the salary cap goes up, LeBron could take discounts, do whatever. And then even in the post-LeBron era, you'd still have Jakob Poeltl and Anthony Davis as kind of like your front court for till Anthony Davis rides off into the sunset. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you love the idea of Jakob Poeltl? Do you hate the idea of Jakob Poeltl? Kind of mixed in the middle. However you feel, whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. We enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.